Welcome to day 2 in our mini week of Webisodes. We're all about art impressions and, quite frankly, how to learn how to do what this woman does. This is Bonnie from Art Impressions.
It is so fun. And you know, even if you're not an artist, you are going to love these techniques because everybody kind of wants to be a watercolor artist, and this is how to do it.
And we're going to do lots of fun things, trees and cottages and all sorts.
Come play with us.
Well, as I said, today we're all about cottages and trees. This is a really different look for you, isn't it?
It is, and I love this. I think people are wanting to do more scenic things. It's a little more of a challenge, although it's just as easy. It looks more complicated.
A challenge but easy?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, that's
with
the
you,
key.
With you,
that's
yes.
The key.
Okay, you'll help us.
Make it look complicated, but be able to do it in about 10 minutes. So that's always my goal, and I think you're going to love these.
So we've got the mini cottage, we've got a cottage, and then we've got a rustic cabin.
Correct.
And then trees.
Yes, trees.
Lots of trees.
Yes, and you know, living in the Northwest, you know, we are all about fir trees,
yes.
And there are all kinds of fir trees and different shapes and styles. And with this set, you can do those. You can do all of those.
So what we're going to do is something like this. So we're doing the mini cottage. And boy, there's a mountain, there's clouds, so, and I didn't see stamps for those, but you'll show us how.
I will, and actually it doesn't take very many stamps, and you know what? You do that whole thing with 3 markers.
Wow,
It's
really?
crazy.
So again, the La Plume.
Yes, again, the La Plumes, and our Magic Color Sepia, and then 2 other colors, and we can put together this beautiful little scene.
Show me,
so
show
easy.
me, show me,
okay,
show me.
let's do it. Okay, so we're gonna start out with a little structure, and let me just grab that.
You know, even that sounds classy. It's not cardstock or watercolor paper. This is a structure.
That's right.
I like that.
That's a little structure. And
Make a note.
That's right. And you know, any of these things are interchangeable. So because I'm using this little one, you can use any of them that come in the sets.
So you could do that. You could do that.
You could do any.
Okay.
Right. That's the thing about these things is they all kind of follow the same rules.
Good.
And that's really good for all of our left brain people out there who like rules and counting. It's sort of comforting, isn't it?
Really make the end result gorgeous and I'm a happy woman.
I know it. That's just it. We want to do it fast and we want it to be easy and we want it to look amazing.
Now you just ink that up with the sepia.
Right.
And you did the plume just going on the side of your pen, right?
Yes, and that's a good point because when you go to ink these, you want to use the side of your marker, not the tip, because this will take you forever coloring on all of these lines with the tip. So use the side of your marker and just ink it all up, just like that.
And what always surprises me is that I would expect to see this really dark and, you know, complete, but it's kind of a little rustic.
It is. It's a little rustic, and if you look at it, it isn't complete. A lot of these lines are missing, and that's because these things are made to work together as a collection.
Okay.
So we're going to add things to it. We're going to add grasses and trees around it.
So that's why there's no line there. Okay, great.
That's right. Yep.
So
everything is made with a purpose.
You're dipping it into water, and then you pinched it. Show them pinching.
So I'm going to dip my brush into the water. So I have my little water right here. So I'm going to dip it in the water, and I'm going to pinch it off. This is so important. And you see how flat my brush is? It's really flat. I've taken the majority of water off of that. But as soon as you touch it down to your paper, it comes back to the point. And that's what we're doing. We're pulling this color out of the lines. You see how that just drags that color out? So underneath here, we're going to pull it out here.
Boy, this is just a perfect example of less is more.
It is. Less is more. That's a key to these projects.
Wow.
And we're going to just kind of color in a little bit in these windows here.
Just the top and bottom?
Just the top and the bottom.
Okay.
Adds a little more interest. And in here. And that's we've got a really good start. Isn't that easy?
We do.
It's so easy. So let's add a little more color to it.
So you're bringing in, now she has a plastic palette, but we would probably use a craft sheet. So you're going to hear me say that every time Bonnie's here.
Right, and you can certainly use a craft sheet. You can use any kind of a shiny surface is going to work. So I'm going to mix a little color on here. So I've got a number 72, this is pine green. And then here's my sepia color. And you can see it's not really brown. It's the container that it's in looks like it's a kind of a coffee color, but it's really a mix of color. It has some green in it. It's kind of a mossy color, and when you use it, it looks like dirt. And that's why it's magic.
That's why you like. Okay.
That's why I love it.
You use it on everything.
Everything.
Every single thing.
Yes.
Okay.
And then this is African violet.
And
so
you
that's
use
our blue.
that on everything
Yes.
too. Okay.
Yes, I do. There's a reason for all of these things, and that's so that it's simple for you.
Good.
So I've kind of figured this all out, and
we appreciate
the
it.
whole point of it is that you can do it without stressing over it.
Good. Okay.
So let's mix a little of this color together. So we're taking some of this sepia and this pine green. That's the nice thing about a craft sheet and about a palette, is that you can mix your colors. If you don't have this specific green, you mix it.
Okay.
So mix two colors together and you've got it. And I'm going to put a little color onto the roof. It's kind of a mossy color. It's not really brown. And you can see I left some highlights on there. Don't color everything in solid.
Okay.
Especially on the top. The light is coming down and you're going to always see a little highlight on the top of the structure. You're going to be happier with it if you do that. Trust me.
So you got a little bit more.
Little bit more.
Just to add a little more color.
Yep, and under this little eave here, this is going to be really dark. And see how that's shaping up?
And again, like you said, there's white areas or cream
Right,
areas.
there's white areas, exactly. We don't want to color everything in solid. So we've got a little door in. We can actually darken these windows a little bit.
Okay.
And let's take the fine tip now of that African violet and really darken these windows over here. These are going to really be dark in here.
Okay.
And that's pretty much all we need to do with that.
Okay.
We are on to the trees now.
Okay.
And see how that popped that out? If you look at the difference, let me just show you here the difference.
Oh, from when you first stamped it?
From when we first stamped it. So here's that little structure.
Yeah.
And look at the difference.
Huge.
And that's really just by pulling the color out of the lines. That's the biggest step. Pull that color out, and the lines are strategically placed, and the width of the lines makes a difference because of how much color comes out. So it really is pretty scientific. And if the lines are too thin, not enough color. If the lines are too thick, too much color. And too many lines also creates too much color. So there's a reason that these stamps are made for this technique.
Okay, okay. And what I am astounded is how quickly you did that.
Right.
Now, I know you've done this once or twice.
Right.
But still, it's not, this is not a 30-minute thing.
No, this is a 10-minute.
Yeah.
Because if you're like me, if I can't do it in 15 minutes, it's not happening.
I remember that, and I do love that about you, by the way.
I am so on such a time crunch for things that I have got to have something that I can get quick, pull it out quickly, and do it really quick. And I think this fits all those requirements for me.
Okay, so we're on to
see how different
trees?
that is. So
Trees
let's go to the
next time.
trees. So again, we're going to use our magic color here, and that's our sepia. And the tree set comes with two different styles of trunk.
Here, let me just kind of bring it in.
So you can see there's two different styles here, and you can use either one. You can also ink the parts that you want. So for example, you want this tree trunk, maybe you don't want it as tall, so you only ink to here. Or this one, maybe you want a narrower one, a little tiny one. You don't ink this part. So keep that in mind when you're using markers. Most of the time, these things are meant to be used in pieces, sections. So you ink the parts that you want to use.
And that's really nice to know because it makes them more versatile, which
It
I know
does.
is your goal.
That's my goal.
Okay, good.
Yes,
good.
I want you to have a value too.
Good.
So I want you to be able to do it quick, and I want you to be able to have a value.
So you've inked that up.
So I've inked this up, and I'm going to stamp it just a couple of times here. So maybe put one over here.
Okay.
And let's just do another one, maybe a smaller one. And again, see, I can take this part of the trunk off, and
So
then
you just
that
smooshed
keeps it looking a little different. Keeps things looking a little different.
Oh.
Okay, so we've got our trees in there, and you can put them in randomly. You can put 1 or 2 or 10 or 40. You can put as many in there as you want to do. So we don't need to add any water to this yet. We're going to do that after we put the foliage in.
Okay.
And this little guy here, so let me show you on the package. So this little one right here, these are the tops of the trees. They're also really versatile for other things too, but these are to be used with the top.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm using this small one right here.
And they're more the straight ones
The
rather
straight
than
ones.
the curved.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm going to use 2 colors now because pine trees and fir trees have that deep, deep green color.
Yes.
And we have a pine green, but it's not quite deep enough, so we want to mix some color onto the stamp.
Okay.
So here again, I'm only using part. So
And what
kind of
color
the
are you
top,
using?
This is African violet.
Of course it is.
Yes.
Of course.
The 2 magic colors. Yes, and really we're only using these three. We're using sepia, pine green, African violet.
Excellent.
So now we're coming over the top with the pine green, and it does matter which one you do first.
Oh.
So you want to do the African violet first and the pine green over the top.
Good to know.
Okay? So now we're going to stamp it on the tops. See, just like this and just like this. So we've got our start to our trees. They're a little funny looking right now.
They are, yeah.
But we're going to make them really cool. So now let's do that again.
Same one.
Same one.
So you're doing it all over with the African violet.
Yes, correct.
And then you do the green on top.
Right.
Okay,
and you can see that now you can start to put in, and you can mix it up. So you don't necessarily have to do the blue every time because you want that mix of color.
Yes.
So now let's go to our little foliages that have a bend. So these little guys have a bend, and that's going to turn the tree. And you know what? You can go down, or you can go up.
And there are 4 of them.
There are 4 of them,
sizes.
different sizes, right.
Okay.
And as you go down the tree, you use more and more of this foliage.
Oh.
So you're going to start out with the ones that are smaller.
Again, you can use just parts of it.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, so it is all about that. So we're going to start with just the small area, and we're going to ink it in the 2 colors again.
Same way.
Same way.
Purple first.
Yep, purple first, and we're going to kind of work our way down.
And you did 3 times.
And 3 times, right. And you don't necessarily have to do a certain amount of them.
Okay.
Let's turn it, and let's do this one now.
Okay.
So this is going the other way. This is so random. Don't stress about this kind of thing at all. I promise you, this is all going to come together.
Will you tell us when to stress?
I will.
Okay,
And you'll
good.
never hear me say it, ever. There
Actually,
is
better yet.
never a time to stress with these. They all come together. I promise you they will.
Very
it's so
forgiving.
fun. Very, very forgiving.
Yeah, nice.
And let's do a couple more of these. Let's just put a couple more in here.
It's just fun to see it take shape.
It is. It's so fun. Okay, so we've got some, let's put one more little one down, maybe down in here on this side.
Cute.
And you can see it's really random. There's no rule really to follow. You're just kind of mixing up this foliage and stamping it on there, and it will all come together. So now is when we add our water.
Okay. Dip
So
in water, pinch.
Dip and pinch off, and you're gonna just touch all of these little boughs. And you'll see this will all come
I'm
together.
going to scoot you over a little bit. There you go.
There I am.
Nice.
And so you're not brushing, you're not doing any brush strokes.
So you're tap, tap, tap.
You're tap, tap. And notice where my hand is. So my hand is flat on the table like I'm gonna write my name.
Okay.
So the side of your hand should be resting on the table.
So that's stable.
So that's stable. And you're
Okay.
just touching kind of with the side of your brush, the side of the tip.
Let's get in closer, John. Thank you. Nice. So just tap, tap, tap.
Just tap, tap, tap. Yep, it will do its thing. It will just do its job.
Trust Bonnie. Trust
me.
the
Yep,
paper.
don't stress. Don't stress about this. And you know, when you look at these fir trees, like they're kind of odd shaped anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also do a really uniform one too. There are lots and lots of ways to use these.
You're kind of filling in.
You're
just
kind of filling in,
exactly
right?
what you did with the foliage on the puppy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ah, now you're on the
Now I'm
trunk.
on the tree trunk, so you can brush a little color in down there. Don't be afraid to go outside of the lines. You've got color onto your brush now, so you can take that color and bring it out. A few little dots here and there if you want to. Don't be scared.
Okay.
You know, it takes a little
Thank
courage
you.
to do some of those things, but you can do it. Okay, so now we're going to take the fine tip of the sepia, and we're going to put a little darker color in here, just kind of randomly.
Are you staying on one side of the trunk?
I'm going right down the middle where that
Okay.
tree trunk was. So I'm
Okay.
coloring in those same lines that we stamped.
Again, just to give definition. Okay. Nice.
And you can see how these trees kind of took shape
Yes.
already, didn't
I
they?
do. I do.
So let's add a few little grasses in here.
You know, so many times in stamping, we're used to seeing the whole image on one stamp.
Right.
And it's just kind of a difference of seeing the versatility of what you offer. Nice.
That's right. And these little scenes are so fun to do. You know, the little pots and structures or the little containers, those are really fun too.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a different level. This is a bit challenging, but how they turn out is they're just amazing.
Yeah, nice.
I'm always amazed at the work people do and what I see.
Now what are you doing?
So now I'm stamping in the little grass. So this is from the basic foliage set.
Oh, okay. We need to can we show that just for a second? Okay, so this is, and it's offered yesterday and will be offered again tomorrow. So this is a basic set. So there's foliage and flowers.
Yes, so this is the foliage,
Okay.
and then the flower set also. So there are two basic ways to start. So the flowers and the foliage.
Okay.
These are the staples.
Right.
And normally in every project we come back to one or more of these every time. Otherwise you would have them in every single set.
And
you don't need 100 of them.
No.
So we go back to these all the time. They're really, really versatile. So I went to this little tiny grass, this one right here. And so I added some of that grass in.
You stamp 5 times, I bet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or more.
Oh,
and
so
if you can get more in, that's even better.
So you're at the base of the trees.
So I'm kind of at the base of the trees here and adding a little more of this in.
Okay.
And so now we're going to add some water.
And pinch it off.
And pinch it
now
off.
You're stroking it?
Yep, we're just kind of stroking it down.
No tapping, stroking.
No tapping. Grass is the only time that we actually use a stroke.
Okay.
Everything else is going to be just dabbing.
And do you see what else she's doing? Those strokes are going to the left.
If you drag the color to the side, you get kind of an evening shadow.
I see that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, nice.
Super easy.
And easy. Yes.
And you can take a little more of this color from your palette. You know, the more that you do this, the bolder you get. It's not scary. And the more courage you have when you see how successful you are at these things.
Very good.
So let's do a little extra thing in the background here.
Okay.
So since we're talking about freehand and being brave,
is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
So you're
challenge. I've got to challenge you.
Now you're into the African violet?
Yes, I'm into the African violet. So let's just put a little.
Oh, we get a mountain.
Little mountain in here.
Yay.
And again, we never stress out about stuff like this. The idea of things is the most important. It's the idea of it. Is that when you look at this picture, oh, it's fir trees with little mountain scene. Perfect.
Right.
So we don't have to stress about that.
They're ghosted in the back.
They're ghosted in the background. Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. And you can come back in here again and go a little darker if you want to.
Wow. We can be our own worst critic, can't we?
Yes, we can. And don't overwork things. It's so easy to do that. Just put it on and just be done.
So you can have a forest, or you can have just a few trees.
Exactly.
And you can do the trees by themselves.
Exactly.
If you want to.
Right.
Okay.
Right. There's just no end to these things, and they're really versatile. And the more that you play with them, and I think that's part of it too, is just being familiar with them and having the courage to try different things.
Just really nice.
Because they really are fun.
Yes.
Sign and date, that's the last step. I'm a fanatic about that.
I gather.
Because even though you're using stamps, this is still your own work.
It is.
And you're putting this combination together. That's going to be different.
That's a nice, yes, you're right. So you would take this and perhaps trim it down and then do some matting and simply let that be your card, and you could add a greeting, just anything you wanted to. So really
and
sweet.
Don't be afraid to put these in a frame. Put it in a mat or put it in a frame, because a lot of these things are so cute. Put it in a little frame with a little sentiment. Somebody will love that.
Yes, they will. They absolutely will. And join us tomorrow, because we're going to have more from Bonnie. And I think we're having little birds. We'll see.
I hear some birds singing.
I think so.